No God but God: The Origins, Evolution and Future of Islam by Raza Aslan. Through the slow and steady building of personal relationship that one discovers the fundamental truth that all people everywhere have the same dreams and aspiration, that all people struggle with the same fears and anxieties. From the earliest days of the Islamic expansion to the bloody wars and inquisitions of the Crusaders to the tragic consequences, the Jewish philosopher and mystic Moses Maimonides noted so many years ago, it is reason, not imagination, which determine what is probable and what is not. With the end of colonization and the birth of the Islamic State in the 20th century, these two groups have refined their argument against the backdrop of ongoing debate in the Muslim world over the prospect of forming a genuine Islamic democracy. Finally, when Muhammad, peace be upon him, was at his lowest, a second verse was sent down from heaven in the same painfully violent manner as the first. This one answering Muhammad that whether he liked it or not, he was now the messenger of God. By the grace of your Lord, you are not a madman. Yours will be an unending reward, for you are a man of noble character. Soon you shall see, and they shall see who the madman is. 68 1-5. God had seen the greed and wickedness of the Quraysh and would tolerate it no longer. Woe to every slanderer and backbiter who amasses wealth, hoarding it to himself. Does he really think his wealth will make him immortal? By no means. He will be cast into the fire kindled by God. 104 1-6. Early acceptance came as a great relief to Muhammad, for he was not only Muhammad's cousin, he was also his closest ally, the man whom the Prophet reportedly referred to as brother. Ali would eventually mature into the most respected warrior in Islam. What made the Ummah a unique experiment in social organization was that in Yathrib, far away from the social and religious hegemony of the Quraysh, Muhammad finally had the opportunity to implement the reforms he had been preaching to no avail in Mecca. To further his egalitarian ideals, Muhammad equalized the blood worth of every member of his community so that no longer could one life be considered more or less valuable than another. The Quran goes to great length to emphasize the equality of the sexes in the eyes of God. God offers forgiveness and a great reward for men who surrender to Him and women who surrender to Him, for men who believe and women who believe, for men who obey and women who obey, for men who speak truth and women who speak truth, for men who persevere and women who persevere, for men who are humble and women who are humble, for men who give alms and women who give alms, for men who fast and women who fast, for men who are modest and women who are modest, for men who remember God and women who remember God. 33 semicolon 35. With a few notable exceptions like Khadija, women in pre-Islamic Arabia could neither own property nor inherit it from their husband. Actually, a wife was herself considered property, and both she and her dowry would be inherited by the male heir of her deceased husband. There can be no compulsion in religion. 2 semicolon 256. Indeed, on this point, the Quran is adamant. The truth is from your Lord. It says, believe it if you like or do not. 18 semicolon 29. Certainly, Muhammad understood that there were distinct theological differences between Islam and the other people of the book. But he saw these differences as part of the divine plan of God, who could have created a single ummah if he had wanted to, but instead preferred that every ummah have its own messenger. Tash semicolon 47. Thus to the Jews, God sent the Torah, which contains guidance and light. To the Christians, God sent Jesus, who confirms the Torah. And finally, to the Arabs, God sent the Quran, which confirms the earlier revelations. From the beginning of his ministry, Muhammad revered Jesus as the greatest of God's messengers. Much of the Gospel's narrative is recounted in the Quran, though in a somewhat abridged version, including Jesus' virgin's birth, 3 semicolon 47, his miracles, 3 semicolon 49, his identity as Messiah, 3 colon 45, and the expectation of his judgment over humanity at the end of time, 4 semicolon 159. Even though Muhammad recognized the theological differences that existed among the people of the books, he never recalled for a partitioning of the faith. On the contrary, to those Jews who say the Christians are wrong, and to the Christians who say the Jews are wrong, 2 semicolon 113, and to both groups who claim that no one will go to heaven except the Jews and Christians, 2 semicolon 111, Muhammad offered a compromise. Let us come to an agreement on the things we hold in common. The Quran suggests that we worship none but God, that we make none gods equal, and that we take no other as Lord except God. 3 semicolon 64. It is a tragedy that after 1400 years, this simple compromise has yet to overcome the sometimes petty yet often binding ideological differences between the three faiths of Abraham. Some decades after Muhammad's death, the war of succession led to the birth of faction, Shia, that insisted on treating Muhammad as more than a simple messenger and demanded that his family alone supplied the caliph, that is, his son-in-law and his heir. Raza Aslan argues that Muhammad's 7th century teaching were actually closer to those modern ideas. Well, the Makkah that Muhammad was born into was at that time the financial, cultural, social and religious capital of the Arabian Peninsula. I mean, this was about the closest thing to an Arab cosmopolitan city that the ancient world had seen, and most importantly, this was a city that was surrounded by a host of different religious groups, Jews and Christians and Zoroastrians from Iran, and a whole variety of various pagan groups. This was just this religious melting pot that Muhammad grew up in and had access to, and it quite clearly informed his own spiritual identity. The reason that Makkah had become the financial empire was because of the Kaaba, and people from all over the peninsula came to Makkah to worship their God, but they also came in order to trade with one another, and the influx of money into this city had made the ruling aristocracy enormously wealthy. Throughout the first 3-4 years of his preaching, the vast majority of the message that Muhammad revealed to the Meccans had to do with financial reform and distributing the wealth to the poor and the needy. Aslan provides many examples of where Muslims were far more accommodating of other religions than Christians were. Orthodox rulers routinely persecuted both Jews and non-Orthodox Christians for their religious beliefs, often forcing them to convert to imperial Christianity under penalty of death. In contrast, Muslim law, which considered Jews and Christians protected people, neither required nor encouraged their conversion to Islam. No God but God traces the history and growth of Islam from these early days until our current time.